everyone. If you're getting this, it's good to see you. I'm currently having some technical difficulties, so if you wouldn't mind just holding on a minute while I do this and get this reset. I really didn't do this properly, sorry. Just having a few technical issues. You will understand what's going on in a minute. First, let me abandon that run. If you are seeing this, know the title is not clickbait. I will get into that more in a second. First, I have to just make sure that I actually have access to the video. I don't have fun stream music here, unfortunately, but, I can kind of pretend. Uh, what about us? What about all the times you said you'd screw? I don't know the words, actually. I'm going to stop there. But, Pink felt kind of appropriate given that they did play that there, but, we'll get to that. Hello! Okay. Everything should now be configured. I'm going to give it a few minutes for people to show up. But until then, I am going to set this up and explain a bit about the Minecraft side of what we're doing tonight. I put on Minecraft because it's a game I like, and I can probably multitask and talk about it while parkouring, especially on a track that I've been doing the past few weeks to calm down. Or chill, I don't know the word there. I'm in the wrong game mode? Yeah, I'm probably in the wrong game mode. Let's go to active adventure mode on that one. But yes, hello, hi everyone. I'm currently here setting up this game. I got back from the DNC last week. I was not there as an official creator, but I was there and I did create things based on it, which is what I'm doing right now. I'm not seeing anyone. I'm not saying I currently have any viewers, so I'm not sure if I want to start until people show up. But I have now published it to a few different places. Hopefully that gets somebody who wants to hear about it, or anything. Oh, hi! I see I have someone here, maybe. Okay, I'm not seeing anyone, and I don't really want to start until I confirm that people who want to hear this can hear this. So I'll start with a bit of warm-up. We are currently doing Parkour Spiral 3 by Hyuga Maps as our warm-up here. Hey Arrow, good to see you. Yeah, what's up? I went to the DNC. Yeah, I was in Chicago. I was busy all week, so yeah, so I didn't have time to visit people. Arrow, I was working. Let's Ayo! Ayo, I know you from the Discord. Hi. Yes. Okay. So what are we gonna do? Are we gonna start yet? Should we start yet? We should start yet. Hello, everyone. Hi. So yes, I was at the DNC in Chicago last week. I didn't tell anyone I was going because I was actually working it. A friend of a friend wanted me to help run around all day with some passes for something, and I was pretty busy actually. Actually, I don't think I ever got more than 5 hours of sleep a night, which, from what I heard from people who had more important jobs than I did, was actually really good. Yeah. According to everyone I talked to, uh, the whole thing is very much running on low energy but high passion. It's actually pretty funny how similar the Democratic National Convention is to like a Phantom Con, which honestly I would not have expected, but like I guess it makes sense. By the way, I'm having issues with my microphone, so if you guys are having a weird sound issue, let me know so I can fix it. Okay, the balloon drop. So, funny story about the balloon drop at the end. This is actually really funny. Is the whole week, every day we went into the center and there were just banks of balloons on the ceiling. They left them up there from Monday, and every day I was sitting at a different angle and I was trying to figure out if they were spelling something. Like maybe they were spelling Kamala, but no, I couldn't figure out what they said. And then on the last night, I finally realized they're just parked in banks to be released at the end of the speeches. And then they did, and they just one by one disengaged from the roof, just like little rectangles of balloons firing downward. It was really funny, and honestly, I don't know what I was expecting. There was also the part with those that was funny is if you're in the room, the mics on TV are good at cutting this out, but those things are loud. We just heard the sound of balloons popping for a good 5 minutes. I have a video of it somewhere, but it was bad. It was bad, it was funny, but it was also glorious and great and cheesy and exactly what I think the convention needed. So I will start the recap. Uh, so I'll start the recap from that is it was a lot of fun. And the whole thing, my sister was there too, working with me. She called it a giant pep rally, and I think she's right because it was very much just people in a room trying to get excited about politics again. Which, after the last 8 years of Democrats being the literal only good option, was actually pretty good. It was a pretty good feeling, and it was interesting being in the room and like actually feeling optimistic for once. I'm really not used to it, and I have a feeling a lot of people aren't either, just based on the whole doomerism thing going on. I don't know. I know it's propaganda and it's designed to hype you up, and everything about it was carefully staged and coordinated, but it kind of worked honestly in terms of getting me excited about the election again. So I have to give them props for that. It was very much that. It was also intensely patriotic. Like Democrats, one of the things I've criticized the party for repeatedly is not being good at capitalizing on patriotism. That we as a party have kind of let ourselves become the anti-America party in branding, and it has not gone well. And honestly, I don't buy into it. Like, I have plenty of things to criticize America about, and I will do so freely. But at the end of the day, I can do that from a country that allows people to criticize that country. And even if we are horrible at being anything we say we want to be, I mean, what we say we want to be is good, and I want to try to be that. But the convention was very much about embracing that part of America and that the Democrats are the real patriotic party, which, I mean, is a good thing to argue, I guess, especially in the age when the other party has a guy who tried to start a coup and overthrow the US government. So let's just reflect on that for a second. It shouldn't be a hard sell, but it is, and we've all kind of accepted that it is a hard sell. Yeah, yeah, it's being blocked out by chat. Looking at must have been like, felt like being consumed. Yeah, a little. I mean, they kind of look like teeth, not so much. I didn't think about it at the time. But now that I am thinking about it, yeah, I guess it did kind of look like a giant gaping mouth swallowing you from above. So yeah, with the overview out of the way, the actual convention itself is pretty fun. Like I was saying, it's very much structured like an average con. During the day, there's an expo hall and everything with a bunch of different booths. I got to go down there a couple times, but I was pretty busy during the day because I got, this is not going well. During the day, I got sucked up into passing out passes for one of the delegates. So the way access works to the convention is every day there's a set of passes, and you have to get them from the party or from a group that has them designated from the party. And everyone has to request them individually, and so I was in charge of making sure people got where they needed to go with them. For one specific subset of people from one specific area. It was pretty fun, actually. I didn't get to meet anyone too famous and important through that, but I did meet some people, and they were actually pretty nice. This whole parkour thing is not going well. Okay, but actual convention stuff, I will go through the speeches. So night one, this is getting embarrassing. I may need to focus on the parkour for a second. I really thought I could do this absent-mindedly while talking. Okay, so night one. What was night one? Uh, yeah, American Pride. I'm seeing chat now. RNC, anti-patriotic. Yeah, exactly. You get it too. You get it. So again, you get it. So again, it's very much like if you want to run America, you should at least pretend to like the way it exists. Kind of an important part of the job. And Donald Trump definitely does not do that. But yeah, so talking about the speeches, where was I? Night one. I have the speaker list up here to remind me how that whole thing went. But I'll be honest, for most of night one, I actually wasn't in the convention hall because there was a massive protest outside that blocked off access for basically everyone for several hours. So I missed probably 60% of night one. And from what I'm looking at on the list here, as I read across this, I honestly, who do I recognize from this that I should have been there for that I wasn't there for? Because there were some people I missed probably. Oh yeah, I missed the Jesse Jackson thing. Okay, that was. It looks like as I look back on the agenda for the part I wasn't there for, yeah, looks like the interesting one was Jesse Jackson. Uh, yeah, Jesse Jackson, 80s American politician, got honored at the convention. I wasn't around for him. I was born in 2001, so my history on that one isn't great, but I do vaguely remember some stuff that I don't want to confidently assert without having the text in front of me to correct, for anyone who doesn't know who that is. But they honored him. They brought him out on stage. Everyone cheered for him and clapped. And I think he has Parkinson's now. I could be wrong about what the specifics is, but he is not doing well. And from what I gather and what I saw later, it was very nice of them to bring him up. But yeah, that's part I missed. When I got there, the first memorable speech was from New York Governor Kathy Hochul, who, interestingly enough, spent the entire time just talking about how she's from New York and they are really sorry about Donald Trump, you guys. And if anyone hates Donald Trump, it's the state of New York. And they really want you to know that, which was just a very funny thing for me to see as one of my first full speeches on the convention floor. That was a very interesting start to the event for me. Wasn't meant to be, but it was. Also, this is the point where another form of normal fandom cons that seeps into politics apparently is the food offerings available at the United Center in Chicago. I had a pretzel for dinner, which I still think is funny. I'm sorry, guys. I should have prepped better. I should have prepped better, but I have the speaker list open just so I can check who I was talking about. Okay, next interesting speech that I think people would want to hear about is Steve Kerr, a basketball guy who I don't know a ton about also, but he was there and he got up and he made some jokes about us not knowing who Michael Jordan is, which, I mean, I am not really a basketball fan generally, but I did know that one, and I thought it was a little weird he kept bringing up that people that trying to remind the youngs in the audience who Michael Jordan was. So that happened. Okay, but the actual one people probably want to hear about, AOC. AOC spoke. I don't think I ever sat through an AOC speech before. I don't know when I would have a reason to see one in person, but I don't think I'd ever sat one online. But like sitting through an AOC speech in person, she's pretty good. She's pretty good at it, and I generally respect her ability to get up and say things, and I respect that she has grown into the role. I have some issues with her just in regards to Jews and Jewish stuff, but but I think she handled it well during the convention at least. So AOC was a good speaker, and I'm glad I saw her in person. Highlight of night one was probably Hillary Clinton, which is weird to say in the year of our Lord 2024. But yeah, Hillary Clinton is also great and a lot of fun. The lock her up chance the lock him up chance you heard, yes, that was really happening. I was one of the first people to do it, and I kind of caught some flack from it from my friends I made there for being a little too loud about it. So if they're watching, hi guys, I'm sorry. But yeah, it was a lot of fun, and chanting lock him up was very much part of the performance, I think. I think chanting lock him up during the convention proper was a good idea because part of the way that the 2024 election is shaping out is Democrats are finally going on the offensive. And I think we need to accept that it's kind of entered public discourse whether or not it's a good thing to do. And also, Donald Trump is a convicted felon on 34 counts and also tried to overthrow the US government. So I don't really have a problem with shouting for his arrest, personally. This is going great. But other than that, it was fun to see her in person, and I don't know. Hillary Clinton to me now is an interesting figure. I wonder about what she thinks about 2016, 8 years out from it. Like, it has to suck for her on a personal level. But separating that symbolically and understanding her place in history as a result of it, and what the world's become since, like, I think if I got to sit down with her, I would have a very interesting conversation about what that's like. Like, being the woman who lost in 2016 and brought us into this modern era. I do feel bad for her. But still, it was nice to see her. Nice that she's still going around doing this. Nice that she's still in pretty good shape, actually. I'll get to that more with Bill. But yeah, Hillary Clinton being there was interesting. The keynote speakers of the night were, of course, Jill and Joe Biden, and Joe Biden was great. I liked seeing her. Don't have anything specific to say about that one. Joe Biden, if you're watching on TV, you'll notice everyone in the arena had these giant "We Love Joe" signs, and that's because they handed them out right before. And I actually kept mine. I have it. I have it hung up in my room now. It's a good souvenir. They're on giant sticks, and the applause was genuine. I was trying to figure out when it was going on past the 1 minute mark if it was seated, and I genuinely couldn't tell you. I don't think it was. I don't think that applause was seated. I think just genuinely every time people were finally done applauding, someone else started clapping for President Biden. But he spoke, and damn, the energy. I don't know what they gave him because that was just like the fire in him was just amazing. It was a thing with a lot of older speakers who I genuinely didn't think would have a lot of older speakers who have kind of petered out in years, and I'll fully explain this later, but a lot of people were bringing their absolute A game to this convention, which I was impressed by. I mean, I guess if there's a time to do it, it is the Democratic National Convention. You're never gonna have more eyes on you, but it was nice to see. That was night one. Day two, I got down to that was night one. If anyone has questions, I think one person's still here watching live, but if you have questions about that, I can pause for a minute. Talk about those. I guess I bail for a minute while wait if anyone has any comments or things about night one. Let's see what else. Yeah. I don't know what I can talk about in terms of like getting into the convention hall. That's not like a security thing. I mean, they definitely aren't watching it. They don't care, but still, if I ever want to get invited back again, I should play it safe on that one. So I will just not talk about that. I will not talk about the experience of waiting in line for it and how that was. I guess I can say there were metal detectors. I mean, like, obviously, no shit, there are metal detectors. It's the DNC. But yeah, I'm not gonna disclose them. I'm not gonna disclose anything weird that happened in line because there was like one thing that was funny, but I don't want to say that on YouTube. Thanks, so, Care. Thanks, so, kids. Yeah. I still can't believe I was there. Like genuinely, the fact that I was able to work that and be there for history is surreal. Let's say, absolutely, just completely surreal. Did I miss anyone from day one? Kathy Hochul, New York, AOC, Clinton, Clinton, Biden's. Yeah, the applause was genuine on Biden, I think. I still have the sign. Yeah, that was it. Okay, so night two. Uh, did night two have my favorite speaker the whole thing? I think night. No, oh, I know what I forgot. Speaking of, oh, sorry. Yeah, two more speakers that were great on night one. We had Raphael Warnock, uh, Raphael Warnock and Jasmine Crockett. Warnock, senator from Georgia. I like him, and he's an amazing speaker. And as someone joked to me later on, of course he's a good speaker. He's a black preacher from Georgia. He knows how to work a crowd. But just like the energy in that was electric. And if you watch one speech from the convention, if you watch one speech from the convention, I would say make it his, because he is just that good. Other speaker that I wanted to highlight. Now I'm forgetting. I just looked it up. Or I just looked at the list to make sure I had it. Oh, Jasmine Crockett representative from Texas. I'd never heard of her before. Apparently, she went viral early this year for getting in a fight with Marjorie Taylor Greene, but she was also great, and I'm excited to see where she goes in the next few years. Night two. So night two, I was actually there the whole time for this one, which I'm glad for. Okay, I'm embarrassed about the one I didn't make. Yes, there was a nightly feature they had at about watching there's a nightly feature they had where they went over Project 2025 in some detail. Mostly it was just hitting highlights and good rhetoric stuff without reading specifics, but I'm glad they did. I'm glad they did, and I'm glad that they are trying to bring more eyes to it because Project 25 is a very dangerous thing for Americans, American democracy, people in general, the continued existence of humanity on Earth, the planet, our basic human rights, etc., etc. Yes, Project 2025 is a bad thing. You can quote me on that. Thanks, DNC. But my favorite part of the whole Project 2025-a-thon was that they brought out one of my favorite politicians from when I was in college, Malcolm Kenyatta, who is currently running for state auditor in Pennsylvania. He ran for Senate. I worked at his campaign. I'm a huge fan of him as a person. I think he's also a fantastic speaker, great political mind, great general, great ability to connect with people. One of the most amazing politicians I've ever met. And I love him greatly. I'm so glad he's running for Auditor General. And if you're in Pennsylvania, vote down ticket, guys. Don't know what to tell you. But yes, Malcolm Kenyatta was read as part of Project 2025, and we were all better for it because he's great at this, and I'm so glad he got time at the DNC. Thanks to Representative Kenyatta for showing up. Huge fan. He knows this. We got a photo. Who else spoke night two? Oh, the recurring feature of what they did with the one recurring features they did also was having Trump voters come on camera and talk about why they were no longer voting for Trump, which was, in my opinion, a pretty good idea. Having, I mean, the point of the convention is to recenter the party for the general election. This is supposed to be true on both sides. In practice, no. But, I mean, this is the first time a lot of undecided voters are hearing from a definitive nominee. And centering Trump voters was a good tactic, I think, for getting people into the fold. Like, sort of, it's kind of like offering amnesty. Like, yes, they did vote for a racist fascist who got hundreds of thousands of people killed. And yes, that is objectively a bad thing, but look, this is now, there's a chance to do the right thing this time, and it'd be good if they did. And I think we don't get anywhere by reminding them repeatedly of their mistakes. So by sort of giving them the amnesty to vote for Harris this time, we're offering, it's a better way to move forward, I think, and healthier generally, politically. So I liked that, personally. I don't know if that got shown nationally. It probably did. I hope it got shown nationally. It'd be weird if that was a thing they didn't show nationally. But yeah, I genuinely don't know what was and wasn't on the ad breaks, so I could be saying things that no one has any idea what I'm talking about. I hope you guys saw Malcolm Kenyatta, because I love him. What was after the Trump voters? Oh, roll call. Yes. So the roll call vote, parts of that went viral because they had a very extensive playlist there. And here's a genuine question I have for people who were watching on TV. How did the DJ go? Because being in person with that DJ was really awkward and weird, but everyone I've talked to who watched it on TV said he was great on TV. So I just want to get some more data on that one, because it's baffling. But yes, roll call. I think my favorite bit anyone did for the roll call was the Wisconsin people having the cheese heads. Like, that was fun. And also, I appreciated that they were walking around all day with them. I ran into at least 5 during the day, was trying to figure out what was going on. But that did happen. That was fun. Let's say there's something else about roll call that was funny to me, or at least fun, worth talking about. Oh yeah. Oh, I remember now. So I remember watching in 2016, when they were doing the roll call for Hillary. I was watching at home because back then I wasn't cool enough to go. But I remember watching on TV. I remember watching on TV in 2016, and I seem to recall the Cherokee Nation having a vote at the DNC, and I've since tried to fact check this, and I can't find proof that it ever happened. So I don't know if I'm imagining it or if it's not well documented. But they weren't there this time, and it felt weird. Like, I'm trying to figure out if I was imagining that. I remember a big deal that all the territories got to vote in 2016 for the first time. So now I'm still trying to find evidence that the Cherokee did or didn't vote in 2024 or 2016. Also, I think trying to count in my head, they said there were 56 voting groups, but the U.S. has 5 territories. I'm trying to figure out who didn't vote, because you get 5 plus DC plus Democrats abroad, and we still only had 56. So, like, that should by all counts be 57. And every time I double check, I can't find who it was. So if somebody else who has an obsessive knowledge of the U.S. territories would like to step in and tell me about that one, I would be very grateful, because please, it is driving me up the wall. I can't remember who it was. I didn't vote. But yeah, roll call was fun. California went last because of whole having our presidential candidate from there thing, which was fun. I'm glad. I don't know. California was sitting front and center. They have a significantly larger delegation than everyone else, and they made a big show of it, and it was fine. It was fun. What was after that? Look again. This whole thing is going. It's going. Where's my list? I had a thing. I had a Discord bug. Oh, Bernie Sanders spoke. Right, that was a thing. Bernie Sanders spoke. It was fine. Bernie Sanders was Bernie Sanders was another one of the weird ones where I wasn't expecting what we got out of that one. Out of what we got out of that speech. Like, I've listened to Sanders speeches before. He was pretty standard here, which was a little surprising to me. I'll get into more of that when I unveil my grand conspiracy theory about the whole thing at the end, but we'll get there. Bernie Sanders spoke. Cool. There was one corporate executive who spoke. One corporate executive who spoke, and I'm looking at the name, but honestly, I don't care enough to remember it 2 seconds after seeing it. He runs Amex. I don't know why they had him there. I guess they had to have a business leader. As he was speaking, I was checking the RNC speaker line to see what their mix was, and they had like at least 10 business people speaking. So, good on the Democrats for only having one, I guess. Weird standard, but you know what? We're going with it. Three good undercard speakers that I really liked from the lead up to the main act of the evening. We had Angela Alsobrooks, who's running in Maryland for Senate. Really liked her. Tammy Duckworth, who is an excellent speaker generally, and came out and did the great thing there. She's current senator from Illinois. And Doug Emhoff, husband of Kamala Harris, current second gentleman. I just love Doug generally. And he did some cute things where he talked about their first date and all that. But he is generally, like, Doug is a good guy. Hey, Zells. I'm talking about my time at the DNC this week. It's been a while since I've streamed for a number of reasons, but we're trying to get back into it now. I got invited to the DNC not as a creator. I was there working, but I ended up abusing my status as a technical content creator to get into things. It was fun. Actually, that's a different story. When I was walking in night 2, one of the security guards recognized me and asked, "Wait, aren't you a content creator?" And I had to awkwardly say, "Yes, but like I'm not here as one. I just kind of am here as a volunteer, but like, yeah, I'm a content creator, so like, did I get any cool things out of that?" I did briefly see the content creators lounge, but I did not like go in or meet anyone. I didn't know anyone there. It was a lot of TikTok people. I'll say a little disappointing. It was so many TikTok people. Where's that? Doug Emhoff. I love him. Doug's a lot of fun and seems like a nice guy. I don't know. He'll be a good first gentleman if when we win. And that was the non-headliners of night 2. Night 2's headliners were the Obamas. And they were excellent, of course. Like, Michelle and Barack Obama both are great speakers from everything I've seen record them, but seeing them in person, being in the room with them, that was one of the most surreal moments of the whole thing for me. It's like being in the same room as the Obamas. They were great, generally. And also, I appreciated that they're punching back. Like, the whole thing, generally, everyone was punching back, finally, at the Republicans, and I am so glad that Democrats have finally accepted that they have to just do that, because this whole we're better than them thing is not working out. Night 2 thing, before we move on, there was a thing I remembered when I was talking about the content creator part. Yeah, no, TikTokers, I didn't know any of them. TikTokers... Is that the night? No, that wasn't the night with Pete. That wasn't the Pete thing. Oh, right. Bernie Sanders gave a very standard speech. I already said that. Okay. That was night 2. Day 3, I did more time on the expo floor with the actual conning stuff, and I believe it was then one of the days I managed to get a deep dish pizza on the expo floor, which I consider the ultimate win of going to the DNC is being in Chicago and getting deep dish pizza. So, you know, it made it all worth it in the end. And now that's day 2, or day 3. Night 3 speakers. Who did we have? Cory Booker. My sister and I are both huge Cory Booker fans generally. I think he's a phenomenal speaker, and he also represents New Jersey, and he's generally like he's I think, in my opinion, what a religious person should be. Like, he uses his faith to justify doing good things for other people a lot, at least rhetorically. I don't know him as a person, but from what I've seen of him, and I met him a couple times. Also, anecdotally, and this is not based on the convention, he takes really good selfies. Like, I met him one time at a presidential event in 2020, and like, I don't think I expected him to be as good at selfies as he is, but he is. So, you know, points Cory Booker. Also, the New Jersey delegation, when he spoke, pulled out a bunch of Cory signs, which were really fun. I could not successfully secure one, but they were fun. But it was fun, and they were cute. They were cute pulling it out. From what I was able to gather later, they had to give them all back afterwards, but, you know, still cool they tried. That was Kobo. I call him Kobo because we're close like that. We're not. Who else spoke night 3 on the list? Oh, night 3 was a lot more. Night 3 was a lot more activist peoples, and there was a whole bunch of Latino voters who were cool. Voter groups who were cool. Debbie Wasserman Schultz spoke night 3. I guess she didn't talk about how Florida is pretty cool, actually. I mean, I know we're supposed to all love America, but like, it's Florida. Not a Florida fan. Other thing they did, this is where they started upping the ante, and they started bringing in former Trump employees from his administration, which I think was a great flex. I just think they should have gone further. Like, there was one point where I was really hoping that they got Mike Pence to speak. Like, that would be the ultimate flex. And I thought, you know, solid chance of it, because Trump did try to kill him. So, you know, like, if they got Mike Pence, I would not have been surprised. I would have been surprised I would have been a little surprised, I think, but it would have been cool. And it's not like, I don't think it was completely out of bounds, impossible. It just wasn't going to happen, and it didn't happen, unfortunately. But, you know, it was cool. There were a couple people there from the end of Trump's time, like after the coup attempt, and they talked about being in the room. And I'm like, it's cool that you're here now, but like, you stayed way later than I would have advised for anyone's safety. But, you know, they were here now, so I guess that's what we're doing. Like, what do you got to do about it? Oh, was night 3 when they did the thing? Night 3 was when they did the thing that's my conspiracy theory about the whole thing. Oh, it looks like a couple people before that. Before that, we had Kenan Thompson came out, like the Saturday Night Live guy, did a whole bit with voters from across America, where I don't know if people watching this, I have an interesting demographic of people who see my streams that they may not know SNL at all, but one of the things Kenan Thompson does in SNL is he does this recurring bit where he does a game show where he just gets increasingly depressing. And they kind of riffed on that here, where they had him bring out random Americans from across America, specifically the 6 states that Democrats really want to win in November. And he told them different ways that Project 2025 would fuck up their lives. And they did a bit with it, which was funny, I think. I don't know, the night before they had Malcolm Kenyatta literally read part of it, and to me that was better because Malcolm Kenyatta. But, you know, still, points are trying. The funniest part of that was that they had one person whose mic just did not work, so they had to skip an entire section of it, but they clearly structured everything around having him in it, so they just kept showing his muted camera for the rest of the thing. And then after that, we get to Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton spoke. And, like, he was supposedly... I always heard stories about Bill Clinton as a speaker, that he was supposedly really good at it. and really made you feel important, especially like you're the only one he was talking to at all times. And I never really seen that because like I've only known Bill Clinton as the ex-president who shows up for Hillary and is kind of out of it now, but he showed up. Like this was Bill Clinton in all cylinders, and which lends to my grand conspiracy theory I can now happily reveal. The whole thing was a Westworld operation. Disclaimer, I don't actually believe this, but between Bernie Sanders giving the most stock speech possible, Bill Clinton getting up and firing like that, Hillary Clinton leaning into it, like they Westworlded all the famous names who couldn't give good speeches anymore. Absolutely, completely Westworld operation. Disclaimer, I don't believe that, but it's my joke conspiracy theory and I'm running with it. Again, cannot stress enough, I do not believe that there is actually a democratic Westworld operation going on, but it is funny, so I will espouse it as a joke. Just want to be very clear here. It is a joke, but I do think it's funny, so I'm going to say it. The Democratic National Convention did not Westworld Bill Clinton, but also for the joke they did. And that was, I believe, all the non-headliners for the night. Oh, they brought Pelosi out. They brought Josh Shapiro, governor of Pennsylvania, out. I like him. He was cool. Amanda Gorman did her thing. Pete Buttigieg. Was Pete Buttigieg night 3? Wow. I do not remember it. I do not remember Buttigieg speaking. Pete Buttigieg and Amy Klobuchar both spoke, and they were good. And I like that they're still around. I like they're still doing things. I think that they have potential to go further in the next few cycles. They were fun. They were fun and they're good at this, and they're generally competent people who know what they're doing. When was Gretchen Whitmer? Was Gretchen Whitmer night 3? I'm not seeing her on the list. But yeah, we had them speak. They were good. The headliner for Wednesday night was Tim Walz, the vice presidential candidate, and they really leaned in to his whole "this guy was a high school coach" thing. And I think it worked for a sort of folksy thing going on. But to me, the ultimate payoff of that was that everyone else, when they had a headline speaker, the headline speaker always got introduced by someone important to them. So for Biden, it was his daughter came out. For the Obama's, Michelle introduced Barack. Kamala Harris got introduced by, was it her sister? I don't, it was someone in her family. I don't remember who introduced her off the top of my head. But Tim Walz got introduced by one of his students, which I just think is funny, considering the man taught for 15 years and they picked one student. Like, the rest of them had to be annoyed. They did get a few of them on video. Like, they got a selection of people, but they're all like from the same 3 years. Like, from 1999 to 2001, they had Tim Walz as a teacher, and it was just funny to me that it was a very small subset of them talking about how much they loved him. Like, I'd be annoyed if I were one of the other students. That was another night. They gave us all signs. They gave us Coach Waltz signs, which I have that one too somewhere. I brought it back with me. It was also a cool sign. But yeah, they had us hold this up the entire time. He was good. I had not heard of Tim Walz's speech before. He was also very good in front of a room, and I did like hearing from him. And I think he's doing what they brought him in to do very well. Like, appeal to that sort of like middle America folksy thing. He's got it for that. My favorite part of the Tim Walz speech, though, is this really annoying reporter who was next to us the whole time. We really get season 3, so there was a reporters kept coming in and trying to shoot bits for various news groups there. There's one guy who gave this monologue, I think it was from NBC, but he kept on trying to deliver the intro to whatever the news segment was about the convention night 3. And he had the same really bad intro line for Tim Walz's speech, and he could not get a good take of it for a good 15 minutes, so he kept going back and saying the same line next to us. So bad. Poor guy. I hope he did okay. I hope that he got to take that work eventually, but it was really funny and annoying. I had a good time. So yeah, if you anyone watch the NBC coverage, night 3 of the Democratic National Convention, you may have seen it. May have seen this one clip of this guy struggling to get it right. Uh, finally. All right, that was night 3. Maybe that's night 3? No, I got the reporter. Yeah, okay. So night 4 was when Kamala Harris spoke, and a bunch of other stuff happened too. Mostly Kamala Harris spoke. Actually, night 4, I took a little time around the convention hall, try to find people. I did find my old boss, Malcolm Kenyatta. Spoke on night 2. I love him. He was there. We got a photo. It was good seeing him. I missed him. Great guy. I also ran into Pete Buttigieg in the hallway. I didn't get to talk to him because he was in a hurry and had a security detail on him. Speaking of, there were a lot of security details for a lot of former presidents. But yeah, ran into Buttigieg. He had his security guard. He was walking somewhere very important, but still for a very brief second, I did walk by Pete Buttigieg, and for that I will be grateful. Anyone interesting speak night 4? Oh yeah, they had the 4 members of the Central Park 5 there. That was cool. Tanny Baldwin spoke. She was good. Elizabeth Warren, I like her. Elizabeth Slotkin, very good speaker. Running for Senate in Michigan. I'm looking at the list trying to see if there's anyone else I forgot. And oh, that was the night the Dixie Chicks show, or just the Chicks now. They were the Dixie Chicks at one point, but you know, it was cool to have them there for the national anthem. Slotkin. Sorry, looking at the list again. Oh, a bunch more activists. Night 4 was interesting. They spent a lot of time focusing on security and safety issues, which I think was a good move. There was a lot of cool stuff going on there. There was a lot of cool stuff with that. Very much each night there was kind of like a lane they were sticking to in terms of the issues they were talking about, and they did a good job framing better than center-left versions of a lot of valid political positions as durable and fundamental to America, which I think is the way to go for the audience they were playing to. Yeah, I think he did a good job of that, and they had one of the Uvalde they had a lot of parents of kids who were at school shootings or victims of them show up, and that was very powerful to have them there. Oh, is that one? Okay. I'm looking at the list. Okay. Who else spoke? I got it. So, other cool speaker from Night 4. I think the coolest one of Night 4 was Gabby Giffords. If you don't know, and Zels, I know that you are watching and you were probably not around for that one. Gabby Giffords was a very prominent senator from Arizona who got shot in the face and relearned how to walk and talk and became a committed anti-gun activist. And she is incredible for that and has done a ton of good work in that space. She is also married to Mark Kelly, who ran for senator in 2020 for Arizona and won. Mark Kelly famously is brother of Scott Kelly, both of whom they're both astronauts and identical twins, which I think would have been fun to have as president. Like, vice president, like you have 2 vice presidents at once. Yeah, Parent Trap it would have been fun. Tim Walz is cool though. But yeah, Mark Kelly was there. They both spoke back to back, and hearing Giffords able to speak, I didn't know she'd recovered that much. It is incredible, and she was great. And having her there for this was amazing. I encourage people to look up Gabby Giffords if they don't know who she is. And Mark Kelly, very important Arizonans. Probably the best thing to come out of Arizona, except iced tea. Okay, they might outrank iced tea. They definitely do. But yeah, they were good. Who else spoke? Gretchen Whitmer, governor of Michigan, who was am I getting that right? Michigan? I'm getting her confused with Klobuchar. I might be getting my Midwesterners confused. This is embarrassing. Nope. Gretchen Whitmer is governor of Michigan. I got that one right. Yay. Gretchen Whitmer, governor of Michigan, famously subject of a kidnapping plot a few years ago by some MAGA terrorists who tried to kidnap her and take over Michigan. They failed. But that helped her profile, unfortunately, more than anything else she's done, which is upsetting because she's done a lot of really cool stuff policy-wise. But she spoke. That was also that was great. She was great. I like her a lot. I am missing someone who gave a very good speech. I'm trying to remember what the name was right now. This is bad. Who was it? I wasn't thinking Maxwell Frost, but he was there too. He's the Gen Z congressman people like. This is bad. I'm not finding who I was talking about. This is sad. Yeah, if I can remember later, I'll do a thing about it. Frank Escobar? I don't think it was. Anyway, who's left? Oh, the last speaker before the before the ending ramp was Adam Kinzinger, who is a Republican and was one of the many Republicans they brought out to talk about how much they hate Donald Trump, which, again, I think it's a good play in this election to give former Trumpers an out. Like, the last thing people want to do is admit they're wrong. And giving them a face-in way to say, you can still be a Republican and still vote for Kamala Harris and against Donald Trump is a good thing to do. Giving people the grace to change, I think, is important generally. And in this specific context, I think it works. See? Like, I'm bad at parkour. And that doesn't mean that you should discount anything else I say. I think it was a good call. They also had a moment where they brought out every Democratic veteran in Congress to come talk about how veterans hate Trump too, which I think was a good idea. It was really playing up the war machine stuff, which I know people give the Democrats flack for. I personally prefer a world where we don't have this big a military and do this much damage around the world. But, like, we're trying to win an election here. If it works, it works. So like I was saying, everyone got introduced to people close to them. Kamala Harris' sister introduced, not Kamala Harris, but Roy Cooper, current governor of North Carolina, which I thought was an interesting choice when I saw him on the list. Roy Cooper's cool. He's a Democrat in a decreasingly swing state. I'll call it, to be fair to the North Carolinians. They're trying. But a few years ago, the North Carolina legislature passed a really evil law, let's call it. It's not as evil as, like, other things, but they set things up so if Roy Cooper ever leaves the state, the lieutenant governor gets to take over as governor while he's gone. And the lieutenant governor is a crazy MAGA guy. So Roy Cooper basically has been stuck in North Carolina since then. So I thought they were going to come by video and talk about that, but no. Roy Cooper was there, which I thought was crazy. Like, you're going to leave the state for this? I guess I hope it was for the one night and they didn't do anything while he was gone, but damn, I mean, it was a big flex to have him there, given circumstances. No, but he introduced Kamala Harris. And then, of course, Vice President Kamala Harris comes on to talk about how she's going to be president. And Kamala Harris, as I've said many times, I don't know if I've said this on this channel or just privately to people, I know I've been a big advocate for saying this about her. Kamala Harris is a very good prosecutor in every sense. You can like what a prosecutor does, you can not. I think there are problems with it, and I mean, people have had questions about her record for a while, but a lot of those questions can be answered by looking stuff up. There was one thing involving marijuana cases that she actually deprioritized, even though people don't seem to give her credit for that or remember that she did that. Like, it was the law. She had to enforce law, but she did deprioritize those kinds of prosecutions, I think. I could be getting a couple details confused there. I could do an entire separate stream where I talk about Kamala Harris's record, and if people like my politics streams, I may have to do that. Good idea. I'll bookmark that one. Anyway, I didn't prep to defend Kamala Harris's prosecutorial record. But she came out. She was great. She held the room just stunned for a while, and genuinely, I said this at the start of the stream. It was weird to be that hopeful about an election after this long. Like, my political activist record, I've always been around it, but like I didn't start properly caring until around 2016. But then we all thought we were going to win because we took it for granted. Trump won. That kind of broke everything. Not kind of, did. But a lot of people killed. Parkland happened. I started organizing walkouts at my high school, and I started becoming much more directly involved. 2020, we had COVID, and I was doing calls nonstop. In college, I did a ton of stuff. I worked for a few people during college on their 2022 campaigns. And now in 24, I am in a unique position of having a mixed platform, mixed audience for this kind of thing. And I'm going to use that how I can. But all that time, there's been this sort of sense of desperation. And what the Democrats managed to convey over that week was that this is not hopeless. This is not pointless. There is a way forward. And being there for people to say that and see some proof of it, tangible proof, was very inspiring. Kamala Harris delivered that. So points to her. And then, of course, there was the thing with the balloons, which I talked about at the start of this stream. If you're watching this later, it's there. But yeah, at the end of it, you saw on TV a lot of balloons drop from the ceiling. Those were hanging up there the entire week, which I was so confused by, but it's fun. But yeah, they dropped the balloons on everyone for a good 5 minutes. The convention hall was just the sound of balloons being tossed around. And general political optimism for once in 8 fucking years. But yeah, it was a good time. That's sort of my bird's eye recap of everything I remember from the convention hall and things that happened there. I probably missed some stuff people wanted to talk about, so I'm going to leave room for questions. Also, I was generous with how much parkour I thought I'd be able to get done while talking about something that requires intimate memory. And I do have notes, and I've run through my notes at this point, so at this point, the ground's open for questions. Debating what to do because the stream isn't supposed to be about parkour. It is supposed to be about the Democratic National Convention, and I did finish that part. But also, it feels weird to leave this map where it is. I think I'm like 80% through. I don't know, I've done it a few times, but I don't remember the details. I know what I can do. I can talk about going forward. So going forward, I've been doing some stuff privately around mapping. I posted on Tumblr, my Tumblr at the JoJo Experience. Oh, sorry, no. I believe my one for this was the JoJo Electorate is where I'm putting my mapping stuff. I've been trying to map swing states and get a sense of what those look like in order to figure out where to target for that. As the election gets closer, I do think I want to organize more things in terms of getting fandom spaces that I'm in more involved with calls and letters and door knocking and direct action ahead of the election, because as important as the presidency is, there's a lot of down ticket stuff we can do, and you'd see right now in a lot of states, like Florida especially, just having a batshit legislature lets you get away with anything. And like I said with North Carolina, they've got the only Democrat in power there, basically prisoner of the state, and there's stuff we can do about that if you get involved down ticket. So I will be organizing stuff around down tickets, and if anyone watching this wants ballot assistance, I am very good at researching who's on your ballot, what you need to know about them, where they stand on issues, and I'm happy to help with that. And as I probably made clear from this being about me going to the Democratic National Convention, I am a filthy liberal. More accurately, I'm somewhere left of that, but like, yeah, who cares? But the point is, I am happy to help with that. And if you go the other way, I mean, I'm open to having a conversation. I mean, I hope I've made it clear by talking about all the Trump voters that, like, if you've done that before, like, I don't particularly appreciate it, but like, there's probably a reason that makes sense to you that doesn't make sense to me, and I'm happy to hear it. And I do care. Like, at the end of the day, I'm not going to assume you're the worst person ever. The only way you'll do that is if you put pineapple on your pizza. But if you want to talk about it, I do that too. I do answer asks on Tumblr. I don't know where any of the regulars in chat right now live, and I don't want you to expose yourselves like that if you don't want to share. But Zealous, if you're still watching and you want to message me privately, or anyone who was watching earlier that left, go ahead. You can message me privately, and I'm happy to help. I'm happy to help you with voting stuff. But yeah, that was my experience at the DNC. That's what I did. That's what I think. And going forward, that's what I want to do. I want to do more stuff. I want to do more stuff around down ticket stuff, especially in swing states. But also, a big thing I learned there is there are a lot of people outside of those states need the attention and want the attention and need the help, honestly, because it's not economical to invest in them. And as a result, there are a lot of races that get cut short. I mean, even guys in Pennsylvania, like, which is the biggest swing state, if they don't have a chance, they're not getting the money. They're not getting money. And I think it's unfortunate. I think we can make more of a statement, but I do get it. So down ticket stuff, I'm happy to help talk about, happy to help promote. I know in no world is anyone running for office actually watching this, unless one of my followers is insanely cool in a way that I have not previously discussed. I would definitely do stuff for them, talk about them more specifically, talk to them, but, like, why would you? You can do better than me. But yeah, I'm happy to help however I can. How much more map is there? So I only blocked out an hour for this, and I was supposed to do something. I'm over the time. I'm over time already. I'm just trying to figure out if there's enough map that I should just stop now. Let's go check. While I'm doing this, oh, I'm really close. I can wrap this up. Okay. Sorry, hang on a second. Okay. If people want me to do more political stuff on streams, like, I'd be down for that, because I want to get back into streaming. I've been out of it as I was finishing up college and moving around, but recent events have got me a little more settled, and I'm moving into a new place some point in the next couple weeks. This should be better accommodating of streaming. Like, right now, I am not doing great with the setup. Got a mic plugged in on my bed next to me. I've got a second laptop for YouTube chat, but that's at a bad angle. It's not a good streaming setup. But yeah, I want to get back into it, and I don't know if when I'll pick up Pokemon again. I've been playing a lot of Pokerogue lately. That's a lot of fun. I might try to do that to get back into it, but I don't know. I miss streaming, and between now and November, there's a lot I can do. Like, I was talking to people at the convention when I did get into the content creator stuff. People were telling me that they really wish they had more people in gaming doing political stuff. So that's a niche I can fill. That's a niche I'd be happy to fill. I mean, I definitely want to read up on specific topics to speak more intelligently about them before I get on camera. But I very much would. That's something I very much lean into. I just don't know. I just don't know, and I'm spitballing as I try to do this difficult section at the end of the parkour. Parkour. Um, let's think. I had an idea just now. Bouncing this off of people is state breakdowns where I go down the list. I do it for the swing states, obviously, but also I could do it for multiple states. Like people have been talking about North Carolina a lot since Cooper showed up at the convention, which is a little surprising to me. I mean, North Carolina has been a losing battle for Democrats for a bit now. They were the one swing state that broke for Trump in 2020. But like, it's not impossible, and I do it because again, like I just said, it's important to support people like that. Even Florida, where gerrymandering is just so beyond lost, but it's still important. So I do those. I know I'm currently planning for like 7 or 8 streams, but I need to do more than one stream a week to do that, or to make that before the elections. So uphill battle here. Anyway, this is the last jump of this. This is not going well. But yeah, I definitely do more political stuff if people wanted me to, but you have to tell me that first, because otherwise I'm just gonna get on a mic and rant for an hour, and I mean, like, that's fun, but does it work? I don't know. Anyway, that's the end of it. As you can see, we are very good at parkour here on this channel. Very good. But yeah, that's that. It's been fun. I'm glad I got to do this. I'm glad I got to see some of you for some of a while. Hopefully we do more stuff like this in the future. Okay. Great chatting. Bye.